Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back after a delightful lunch break. I, Orghodip,
And I, Shweta.
students of PGDM at National Insurance Academy, are honored to take you forward through the third panel discussion of the day, where we shall delve into the theme Deliver, Sustaining the Insurance Talent Pipeline.
The panel will be moderated by Mr. Deodatta Kurane, digital HR evangelist and consultant. Accompanying him, we have our distinguished panelists, Mr. Dinesh Gagnani, founder and consultant, Learning Tatva, Mr. Pranav Ghosh, partner, Insurance and Technology Consulting, Ernst and Young India, Mr. Sachin Rastogi, Chief Human Resource Officer, Cholamandalam MS General Insurance Company Limited, and Ms. Sonali Chatterjee, Deputy President and Lead People Partner, Human Capital and Risk Capital, Aon India. May I now invite all our esteemed speakers to kindly form the dais as we briefly introduce them.
Mr. Deodatta Kurane is an alumnus of BMCC Pune and a gold medalist from XLRI Jamshedpur in labor relations and welfare. With over 40 years of experience in the HR field, he has shaped people practices across manufacturing and BFSI. His journey spans organizations like Ruston and Horsby, Bharat Forge, Bajaj Allianz Life and General Insurance, and Yes Bank, where he headed the HR till 2021. Today, as a digital HR evangelist and consultant, he mentors leaders and champions the adoption of digital HR best practices.
Mr. Dinesh Gagnani, founder of Learning Tatva, brings 2 decades of rich experience in the banking and insurance sector, with more than 15 years dedicated to learning and talent development. He has worked with Takaful Oman Insurance, National Life and General Insurance in Oman, and Bajaj Allianz General Insurance in India. Renowned for transforming careers through thoughtfully designed skill development programs, he continues to help organizations build knowledge, skills, and attitude that drive performance.
Mr. Pranav Ghosh is a partner in insurance and technology consulting at Ernst and Young India. With over 20 years of consulting experience, Mr. Ghosh collaborates closely with insurers to address challenges in business evolution, regulatory changes, and technological transformations. His focus lies in designing and executing practical strategies while identifying innovative opportunities to maintain competitiveness in a dynamic industry. A regular speaker at international forums, Mr. Ghosh also brings an entrepreneurial edge, having scaled a food tech startup before rejoining the consulting world.
Mr. Sachin Rastogi is the Chief Human Resource Officer at Cholamandalam MS General Insurance Company Limited. A seasoned HR leader with over 25 years of experience, Mr. Rastogi has spearheaded strategic HR initiatives across diverse industries. His distinguished career includes leadership roles at PNB MetLife, Bharti AXA Life Insurance, Dosh Postbank Home Finance, Hyundai Motors India, and Takasam Products India. By aligning people's practices with business goals and fostering inclusive, value driven workplaces, Mr. Rastogi empowers talent and boosts employee engagement.
Finally, we have with us Ms. Sonali Chatterjee, Deputy President and Lead People Partner for Human Capital and Risk Capital at Aon India. She holds an MBA from IMT Ghaziabad and brings with her more than 2 decades of experience in HR strategy and talent management. Ms. Chatterjee serves as a HR leader for health, wealth, talent, commercial risk, and reinsurance at Aon. Previously, as a talent management consultant for 11 years, she specialized in crafting organizational strategies, visions, values, talent management, and leadership development. Her earlier roles were with Salto D5 Consulting, Aon Hewitt, Max Life Insurance, and Tata Chemicals. Now I request my colleagues to formally welcome the dignitaries with a flower bouquet.
Thank you so much. I now kindly request Mr. Deodatta Korane to commence the discussion. If time permits, the panel will also take questions from the audience towards the end of the discussion. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here at NIA. I've been coming to this institute since 2002, since I was working in the insurance sector, then with a bank, and it's a pleasure to be on campus again. And it's a great afternoon to be with a dynamic and wonderful, energetic panel. And if you guys stay alive, awake, and focused, you will get a lot of inputs. But before we start, can I request two things from you? Could those backbenchers please fill up these seats? Please move forward. Come on, move forward quickly. We are not starting till all these seats are filled up. Come on, get the backbenchers here. Come on, everybody, quickly. It doesn't take so much time.
That's an amazing start.
Ma'am, I think they need a little motivation from you.
I can feel for the backbenchers who thought that they'll have a quick nap.
Come
after
on,
lunch.
quickly, get up. Look, we are not starting till you come and fill up these seats. So, Ajao, come on, quickly. Settle down quickly.
Generally, there are charges for front seats, so consider it as a business class, and you're getting an opportunity. Come.
Come on. You don't want me to come down and pick you up, right? Okay, second request is please put your mobiles away. As a mutual courtesy, keep your mobiles away, keep it on silent. We have enough time to look at them afterwards. Okay, please settle down. So, to just put a context on this, you are well aware of the theme, Reinventing HR for Insurance 5.0. You are all insurance students here, and you will be taking up different. Okay, guys, can we have a little silence there, please? Yeah, just settle down. So, I believe in one thing very clearly, that, and it was taught to me by a professor long back, you should first establish a connection. Why this audience and why this subject? If the speaker and the spoken, if they don't have a connect, then we are all wasting our time here. So I'll take 30 seconds, and I think why it's important this topic is being discussed by us and why you are sitting in this audience. For me, the important thing is you're going to be taking up careers in insurance or in adjacent areas to insurance. Okay. And considering your caliber and considering the kind of course which you're doing, you're not going to remain in the entry level positions for your lifetime. Okay. And if you have any aspiration and ambitions, I'm sure all of you have, you will want to move up the hierarchy and the career ladder. And very soon you'll realize that managing yourself is important, and managing people is going to become a bigger challenge for you. And insurance is facing this problem today of getting the right talent. So I think the definition of this subject could not be even more spot on. So this topic concerns you today because you are part of this talent, and it's going to concern you tomorrow because you will become the managers of talent. So pay attention. When we were formulating this and we had a little bit of a discussion beforehand, we realized that actually our part of the panel discussion turns this sentence around. So you say reinventing HR for insurance. A lot of what we are going to be talking about is reinventing insurance for HR. What does it mean? It means how do we rebrand, how do we reposition insurance as a career for HR means people. Okay, because the problem or the crux of the problem is that we are not able to attract the right type of talent. Right? So any good marketing person will tell you that if the customer is not buying your product, then you need to do something about the product. You can't just say every time that the customer is a fool, consumer is a fool. He is what he is or she is what she is, and you better manage your product and your service offering, okay, and be smart. So here the service offering is in terms of careers, and how do we start looking at it? When we are talking about decode, disrupt, and deliver, our panel actually added two more things in this. One is decode, discover, disrupt, deliver. And the last one we added was discard, which means that old age ideas have to be discarded. And if we don't reinvent ourselves, we are going to be facing this talent crunch is going to become more and more difficult for us. And the career which you're starting today, or you're just on the threshold of the career, you're going to be facing a fairly huge problem. Okay. So with that background, hopefully you are now a little bit more tuned to why you're sitting in this hall. Not because the faculty told you to come here, but because you want to be here. Okay. So the way we are going to discuss it is in 4 parts. That means the panel will do like sub 4 rounds. Okay. These are very broad structures, not very rigid. In the first part, each of the panelists will talk about what is the talent gap. When you say there is a talent gap, there is a talent gap, we keep saying that. Okay. So what does it exactly mean? So what is that talent gap? Why, etc., etc. So all that will be covered in a first round, roughly 10 to 12 minutes, maybe 15 max. Second, we will start talking about solutions, because it's just not enough to talk about problems. We have to start talking about solutions. So what is the solution? The first thing we'll be talking about is how do we attract talent. So one is getting new talent. So this will be the second round in the discussion. The third round will be how do we retain talent. So all their industry best practices, their own experience in their industries where they worked previously, how do you retain talent? Okay, because it's like a blood transfusion in a patient. You know, you can't keep on giving blood. If there's a bleed, you can't. You have to stop the bleeding somewhere. So it has to be a balance. It has to be matched. So talent has to be acquired and it has to be retained also. And the last part hopefully we'll have time for it, is something about the kind of the role which NIA plays. So the industry academia partnership and collaboration, because this is one of the most vital sources of talent supply. It's a supply chain problem. This is not a HR problem, it's a supply chain problem. So how do we tackle the supply side, and what role industry academia partnerships can play? So these are the 4 parts. Okay. So now without further ado, I would request in no particular order, if you want to start from this side or from that side. I will do a little bit of a timekeeping. So our time has started at 3:15. So roughly up to 3:30 we will be on this part. I will and give you a gentle reminder. So the talent gap, what is your perception about it? Your thoughts on it? Over to you.
Thank you so much, Deodat, and thank you, NIA, for having me here once again. I think it's really amazing to be here on your campus, interacting with all of you and meeting you, year on year. I really feel privileged to be part of, this forum once again. Coming back to, the question in hand. So I think if we look at the journey of the insurance industry, especially when we talk about the private insurance industry, over the last 25 odd years that it has been in existence in India, I think we have gone through a lot. We have definitely evolved, grown. The talent scape itself has changed enormously from the early days to where we are today. So there is no doubt that, whether it comes to institutions such as NIA, whether it comes to organizations, in the market, in the industry, and the efforts that they have put in to build the talent pool, I think a lot of effort has gone in creating, a simple, demand and supply basic equation in the market. Having said that, when I look at, the scenario today, and of course, as is true for the last 25 years, we are yet again in a situation where we are evolving, where we are dynamically changing with regards to the market trends, with regards to the sheer skill sets which are required. And that in particular I refer to the digital skill sets, the skill sets around interpreting and understanding AI, the skill sets around technical understanding and thorough knowledge of the various insurance domains that we work in. I think there is still a significant road that we have to walk. When I look at my own hiring, challenges and requirements, uh, I still struggle to create, an opportunity where I can bring in people from outside the industry into my domain, simply because of the lack of technical know-how and understanding. And the space that Aon works in specific is around advisory. So we have to be experts in what we are telling our clients, right? So if I don't hire those experts, then why will my clients want to listen to me, right? So there is, a big gap in terms of the expertise around domain areas, some specialized domain areas in specific. The other area where I think there is a significant gap today is around the adaptation to artificial intelligence as a tool, as a mechanism to make our solutions sharper, make our insights better, and create opportunities for people, opportunities for the talent to do work which is more evolved than what they were doing previously. The capability of people to step up in that game is still a work in progress. So we do have, a definite opportunity there. I won't say that that's a challenge. In my opinion, that's an opportunity area for us where we need to partner more strongly. Organizations need to get geared up to skill people, to make people more aware and adaptive to the requirements of the age, which is around especially artificial intelligence. So I think that's where, I would like to share my thoughts. Maybe over to you, Sachin.
Thank you, Sonali. Almost you have covered all. But just before that, this is my first time to NIA, and it's lovely campus and very very warm that I got when I entered the campus. Thank you so much. But Chola Mandalam has been part of this program, and we have been attending and hiring people and sending people for training, etc. So I think we have a long association with NIA. Coming to this response on this question that we are asking about talent gap, it's certainly there. As Sonali mentioned, there are a lot of gaps here, and as per recent projections, there are around 1.75 lakhs additional resources would be required in the next 1 year in the insurance industry. The kind of expansion and the India vision is insurance for all by 2047, which also raises that demand and supply gap because we really need to cater to that vision. We need more and more professionals. Insurance industry is not a general management. You can't get general management people here. So it requires technical know-how, technical skills. But in the given times and times to come, we need to also change the way we are developing our talent. It has to be aligned by, like she mentioned about AI, digital savviness, machine learning, blockchains, Internet of Things, IoTs. All of this needs to come in our talent that we are looking for future. So it's workforce for future. If I have to talk about for insurance, there is a gap, and we all need to work together to see how do we really build those talent around these skill gaps. Yeah.
So I think how many folks here who had attended the consulting class a couple of days ago? So any learnings that you guys implemented, were they useful? Yeah. Yes. No. Okay. So I think we spoke about consulting some days ago. We spoke about talent some days ago as well. I think the talent gap that the industry is facing is twofold. One is the supply issue, which I think my colleague spoke about, in terms of not having enough people. Because if we see the institutes that produce insurance talent, just 2 or 3 institutes across India, whereas the industry is going through a complete transformation and it's going to need a lot of workforce to be able to service that demand. So firstly, there is a simple supply demand issue where we just don't have enough insurance talent that has gone through the rigor of learning insurance as part of their curriculum. So what is being done to surface that or to meet that is basically employing general management MBAs and then essentially spending some time to train them and so on. That impacts productivity, that impacts throughput, etc. But what does it mean? You probably have 1 year of time advantage before if you compare yourself to your MBA colleagues who are basically gunning for the same jobs. You have probably a 1 year advantage over them, before they catch up with your knowledge through GenAI. So that 1 year advantage of insurance know-how that you have, how can you turn that into long-lasting advantage? So coming back to the industry point of view, so there is a supply gap, supply and demand issue, and then the second part is the quality issue. We have all our institutions, our mental makeup, the environment in our home. When parents talk to us about studying at home right from childhood, it's all been centered around knowledge retention. ये याद कर लो एग्जाम में ये आएगा, इतना घंटा पढ़ लो फिर ये लिख के देना. So that kind of mindset has seeped in very deep, and it almost kind of constrains our creativity to apply lateral thinking and move across topics. So if I take a client problem, for example, it is never going to be bucketed in one problem area. I have a problem that the customer is asking for more innovative products. But internally, if I look, I am not able to launch an innovative product before 6 to 8 months of internal work. Why is that the case? Because my systems are age old and I can't launch products fast enough because it takes a long time to develop products in an age old system. Why is my age old system not able to modernize? Because I have a funding issue to be able to undertake a large transformation program. I have a workforce that has not gone through a transformation for the past 15 years. Therefore, I have a people problem. This is a skills issue. So you see the forces that are driving the industry will not stay in one topic. They will go from technology to business to customer experience to people back to customer and so on. So do you have enough mental makeup to be able to apply across topics? Or are you very proud of your NIA degrees, and will that constrain you to only the insurance knowledge that you know? So that is the second fundamental problem, at least in the consulting world that we face, is my clients' problems are not going to be constrained in one bucket. So I need to hire talent that can go across and that can think across. So vertical thinking, great, but if it doesn't apply laterally, it's a problem for me. And then of course there's a supply issue. So for me, that's kind of where the talent shortage kind of comes really into life. And I have business waiting on the other side. I need to grow a practice. I need to run, I need to solve problems fast enough because my clients are asking for those things. But I just can't, bring up a breed of people who know insurance, who can apply lateral thinking, and who are ready to challenge boundaries.
So before jumping into the context here, I would like to take a few seconds or minutes to express my gratitude, but not in the conventional way, because I love stories. Okay, so this started just 2 days before. I spend most of my social media time on LinkedIn, to be very honest, and I was just surfing through the scroll, and I saw NIS coming up with this amazing initiative. I was thinking, wow, what an opportunity to learn. I'm a passionate L&D professional, but before I started my journey as a trainer, I wanted to learn a lot of things. So it took no time. Fortunately, I knew Prasad sir and Ruchika ma'am, and I just picked up a call and said that I would like to be a participant. And they gave me the narration and background and all those things. And they said, "Sir, this is for the students." Is it? Okay. Then we kind of just paused on the thought whether I want to attend or not. Evening, I'm getting a message that, so I'll help you relate with an airline. So most of you would have traveled by flight. If not, I'm sorry for you. And hope that you will travel once. So imagine you bought a ticket, sasta wala ticket, right? Obviously, that's the thing. No? Students say kadki chalu hai. So you travel, you get a ticket, you go on a check-in counter, and you get a shocker of your life, a pleasant one. The staff says, "Ma'am, sir, we don't have the space or seat in the economy." How many of you have faced it? We don't have a seat for you. Have you ever? No? Okay. I wish you face it. I'll tell you why. So the staff tells you that, "I'm sorry, we don't have a space. However, we are upgrading you to the business class." How does it feel? Paisa kitna liya? Yeah? Sir, it's complimentary. So I had the same feeling. I got a message and call from S. Sir and said that, "Sir, we would like you to be a part of a panel." I said, "Is it really?" So I got upgraded to a business class. So I'm really grateful because I was waiting for this actually. So I really felt that how often we see ourselves as learners, and in no time the situation changes and you're seen as a contributor. And of course, with all due respect, I don't differentiate between the business class or economy class. Everybody has a potential. I always see all of you as my teachers, right? It's not that I've got a tag. I was in fact telling Nupur in the morning while walking, taking a stroll of the campus. It's not that we want to, we have a tag of teachers or experienced people. Even you can teach us, right? It's a great opportunity. So I'm grateful to be here, first of all. Grateful to NIA, as Doss sir, Ruchika ma'am, the management organizers, Rani sir for the great hosting, and my panel members. Coming to the point now, mudde pe aate hain. I don't see this is a gap. I take it as a positioning issue, right? Now again, let's go back to the story. How effectively we are telling success stories to the upcoming talent. How effectively we are able to present the industry as a must-have. Okay, let me ask you a question. I can see a lot of sleepy faces, and I don't want to point them right now to embarrass them. Okay, now it's the time to get active. Given a choice to all of you, of course, you have taken a great step towards getting the insurance industry. I'm proud of you all. Given a choice, changing the industry, which industry you would want to step in? Please don't take out the admissions from here, otherwise the management will kill me. But given a choice, just take a hypothetical situation. Imagine yourself taking a different industry as a career. Which industry you will choose? Investment banking? Okay, let me make it easy for you. I'll give you 2 options or 3 options. How many would want to go to banking, investment, or whatever? Okay. How many of you would want to get into IT? No wonder we are lagging in technology and insurance. Okay. Yeah, of course, consulting. No, he's sitting, so you have to please him, of course. Yeah. Right. So, with all due respect, consulting is amazing. Okay, how many would want to go to consulting? Not those students that attended the. Amazing, amazing. Clap for yourself. I knew the answer. I purposely didn't ask the question.
I'm surprised actually. I'm surprised by that answer.
So ideally, it's. I'll see. My colleagues have already spoke a lot about it. It's about how we position ourselves as an industry. We are going to have a detailed discussion in terms of rather than addressing a problem to the solution. So a lot of being said during the previous panel sessions of decode, disrupt. I'm here to deliver, to be very honest. So I'm saving for the deliver part.
Thank you. I think we got a very good definition of the issue on hand. Where is the gap? And very interesting point you mentioned about the positioning. So, in fact, that is one of the things. You remember, I told you reinventing insurance for HR, turning the sentence around. So, how do we position insurance as a career destination? So, moving on, let's now get experience sharing from the panel members on talent acquisition. What are the practical issues faced? What are the sources? How is marketing of careers in insurance being handled? Ideas on how to remarket, rebrand insurance. So the entire piece of talent acquisition. That means from outside to into a company, into the industry sector itself. So what is happening? What are the new things or thoughts which you feel can be a game changer? Again, no particular order. So you would like to start?
Yeah, I'll start here. And this is a good segue from just now what he did, raising hands, polls away here. So I see half of the hall is not left for insurance companies now. But let me tell you, there is a myth about insurance working. It's very, very heavy on sales. And that is why sometimes people want to be away from insurance companies if they get this opportunity to. There are a lot of other things which are related to it because of mis-selling, high pressure job, unrealistic targets. All of this come into mind. But the life is beyond this as well. So insurance is just not about sales. There are a lot of other opportunities, and especially given the new digital thing which is coming in, the entire process is getting digitized, and there is a very big focus on CI, CX, and we are looking at people with a skill set having that mindset. And all the processes which are maybe related to underwriting, whether it is claim processing, actuarials, finance, all of these are very exciting professions to be in insurance because it's very dynamic. Given the regulators also posing, every quarter some challenges in terms of new regulations, new compliances, it's very dynamic. So you're always learning in this industry. And given the kind of, again, digital interventions which is happening in this industry, most of the processes are now getting digitized. And I always say this in other forums, I've also mentioned this. In next 10 years, insurance will become an e-commerce company. Everything will be available online. So this is not going to be any more very sales, high pressure job. Things will be online, products will be simpler and innovative. The process is going to be very, very customer friendly and high on digital. So this is one myth. I think I'm here from the industry to break this for all of you guys, that this is no more a high sales centric job. This is has more beyond this. So please look at this as a serious profession and a career for yourself.
So I think that the story begins from why is insurance not the preference for our youth of today. I think the supply situation starts from there. The supply story starts from there. When a child starts talking about what they want to do about their future career in their homes, is insurance really the first choice? Like, how many of you had insurance as your first choice? I know we have already done show of hands, but just for my understanding, how many of you had insurance as the first choice from a career perspective when you were talking about what possibilities you could look at with your parents? Any of you? Very few of you, right? And I think, and thank you for being honest. Appreciate it, because
Was there someone in your family who was already in insurance?
great. So that was clarity at your level. But honestly, it is not the first choice for most people. And why is that so? I think not only is it honestly a problem of the talent pool, it is also a problem of the customer base. I think if, as organizations, we really relook at our positioning, both for our customers and our clients, as well as for our talent pool, this problem could probably go away sometime in the future. If we really look at the definition of insurance, why is it something which does not give a sense of pride to each and every person who's associated with it? It is truly actually a high order purpose, if you really think about it, as against just a simple product that anybody is selling. It serves to provide financial security, stability, continuity of families, of institutions, of organizations. It really, solves a larger purpose than just an transactional product that you buy over the counter or otherwise. But there is something which stops individuals from thinking of insurance as their first choice from a career perspective, and that stems from what they hear about in their families, in their circles. If somebody in the family is not happy with how their life insurance claim was settled, the experience for the entire family has gone wrong. And then, nobody wants to think about their child then stepping into this sector. And that's where it starts from. So I think the rebranding of this sector is highly important, and it starts from how we put ourselves in front of the customer, in front of the client, because not only is it impacting the client, but it is also impacting the entire socio-economic framework that they operate within. And hence it impacts our potential talent pool, our employees, literally, the entire ecosystem around. So I think that's something that we need to solve for as organizations, because this problem will otherwise keep continuing. I still remember in the very early days, I was in Max when we had just started off operations in India, and I still remember so many war room discussions, brainstorming on which sector, which industry are we going to look at for hiring talent. Is it going to be telecom because they have the sales skills? Is it going to be FMCG because they have the ability to manage distribution channels? What is that sector that we're going to pick up talent from? And unfortunately, while that was a situation 25 years ago, we are still strategizing. We are still, trying to figure out where else can we hire insurance talent from, because what we have in the, in the sector is not sufficient for the kind of demand that we have. So we need to solve for the supply situation. I think that's the biggest priority at this point.
So maybe this is a perspective. I'm going to share two stories again, taking a clue from you. Maybe shake up the guy next to you, because you guys should hear this. Shake up the guy next to you. I can see some sleepy head. So within a span of a week, last week, I had two CEO conversations at the very two different ends of the spectrum. Okay, one was a PSGIC CEO, and the other one was a CEO of a new organization that is yet to be launched. And we were talking various topics, of which one was the talent topic. So I want to share that lesson or those problems here as well. The PSGIC talent problem was that not enough youth find PSGICs attractive, and therefore not enough apply. If they apply, they don't stay. If they stay, they don't learn. They get lethargic. So for them, being able to hire, retain young people in any discipline, in any form, more than 2 to 3 years was a wow moment. If I can hire 20 data analysts who are young and retain them for 2 to 3 years, and they are still productive, they don't hate us, it is great. So that is the spectrum on one side. Okay, the other spectrum is this new company CEO who basically want to completely change the rules of the game of how business is operated today. We are talking zero ops. We are talking about no contact contact centers. We are talking about no selling via distribution. Okay? Which is basically all the fundamentals that the industry today operates on. Right? It's a high touch business. You go to the customer, you explain the product, you go with forms, you get things to the door, you explain again, you explain the whole family. And then it's a push product, right? That's what we've learned. So in a high touch business, they are looking at a completely zero touch kind of model. So now you look back from that business model and see what is the talent that they're going to need compared to the PhDICs. Okay? So the talent pool is operating at an extremity, and of course, depending on how you classify yourself in that spectrum, you will have to align yourselves to one of those organizations. But while you are doing that, the next 5 years, the industry is rapidly shifting, as I gave the other example. Due to that, the pressure will be built across the system. We need one disruptor, then everything will change after that. So the theory with which you are going out in the market today, and the theory in which the recruiters will assess you as a candidate, is going to change a lot over the next 3 to 4 years because of these market disruptions. Simply because the business model is changing. So therefore, the talent needs are going to change. So I think coming back to the point of talent sourcing, whether you today as applicants or a couple of years later as interviewers, your talent sourcing requirements are going to have to adopt to the business model, which for many years has stayed the same in the insurance industry, but it's going to go through a massive disruption in the next 5 years. If I was a student, like, this would be my lucky moment to come out in the market today in this time frame, where the industry, the ministry, the regulation, the foreign investment, the customer, the technology, everyone is pushing in the same direction.
I see it in a different perspective again. I would like to go one step back where Sonali has mentioned about the thought process. Okay, we are talking about career anchors, right? And it goes in our fundamental way of upbringing. We are born in society, civil cultures, backgrounds, diversity is all over around us. Yes or no, right? So, what kind of background we grow in, what quality of education we have, what options we have in terms of choosing a career, and then how we are influenced by our peer friends, parents, relatives. And talking of Bollywood, I'm really inspired from the previous session. Unfortunately, the name you guys have guessed was wrong. It was Two States, not Three Idiots, but let me bring Three Idiots here, right? Imagine R. Madhavan's son, or father, when the forward was there and the father was saying that he engineer banega, as if he has written on a bond paper, boss, nothing doing, you're going to be an engineer. Imagine the kind of pressure we have to come through as young seekers of opportunities. Now, I look at it as a two side. One is the industry side, and secondly as the talent side. For industry, a lot of things were said that ICS Prudential is doing 80,000 screening of CVs. That's massive. And of course, there has to be an AI, right? You cannot do it manually. Now, my question is, what is the focus on human aspect of it in terms of doing the assessment of the background, cultural background, or career anchorship background? So ATS is checking everything, your skill set, your comm skills, your score tells you a lot about your CV, right? And that's what is a decider. But how do we check the person's background, aspirations? That will be given to you when you come for the interview. But what if we are unfortunate? We might be talented, but thanks to ATS, we have no chance. So we have to think deeper about it, that what as an industry we are doing to look at a different tangent of screening of talent. And then for you all as the opportunity seekers, is it a forced option, or is it that theek hai yaar, लाइफ में कुछ नहीं होगा तो LIC एजेंट तो बन ही जाऊंगा, right? That still is a perception, because you would observe your uncles and aunties or some friend of your father or mother will come down on every birthday, every marriage. Unfortunately, that's also they'll show up their face. Why? Because they're doing relationship building and they know that every event is an opportunity for them, right? And sometimes you start hating, what is this guy doing, right? But that model is successful. Today we have a lot of things to learn from, but unfortunately how we are able to see ourselves as taking up an insurance profession beyond the sales, getting into the technical side of it. And again, I will quote the interactions I've had in the morning. Again, sorry, Nupur, I'm quoting you here again. I asked her, what is a profession you want to take? I thought marketing, finance, IT, operations. Actually, wow. Trust me, actually, it's not easy. But if you want to take a challenge head on, take something tough and which will bring relevance to your portfolio. That's what I want to say.
I think this was some really interesting perspectives thrown up. And you talk about disruption. So I read somewhere when I was working in a bank, somebody said that in the future, banking will be required, but banks may not be required. So this sounds like a very, contradictory statement. So basically, what it means is that traditional banking will not be required. And today we see that in banks. I'm taking that example because I worked in a bank. How many of us go to a bank? Most of us do it on an app. So I think the insurance is also going down that road. It has its limitations because of certain regulatory issues and so on, but I think we'll get over it. So it's clearly exciting days ahead. There is no two thoughts about it. And I think you are absolutely at the crossroad and you are at the right place at the right time. Very few people have that opportunity of being in the right place at the right time. So congratulations yourself on that. Okay. Now we come to a problem. I was seeing some medical something or the other, and there's a heart surgery which is going on, and the heart surgeon is saying that we have to perform this operation on a beating heart. That means that repair work of that heart has to be done without the heart being stopped. So now it comes to the next part of the discussion. What I mean by the beating heart example is that while one part of the industry is going to be forward looking, it's going to evolve, it's going to become sales oriented, e-commerce. I think I really like that. Insurance will become an e-commerce company. But the fact of the matter is that while that is happening in the transition phase, day-to-day life and day-to-day business cannot be stopped. So the heart must keep on beating. So while the new heart surgery is going on, the old heart has to keep on beating because policies are there, they have to be serviced, claims are going to be there, etc., etc. Regulations have to be followed. So that brings me to the third part of the discussion, that we have a huge talent pool which is already working. We have spoken about where the new talent is going to come, what are the challenges, why people don't want to come to insurance. We have spoken about that. But now let us hear some thoughts on what do we do with the talent which is already in the insurance companies? How do we retain them? Because if this leaks out, then you are facing a double problem. You're not getting new people and your existing people are leaving you. It's a recipe for disaster. So I think retention is a very, very crucial problem. Let's hear from the panelists, their experiences, their best practices on how talent retention in insurance industry can be enhanced. Dinesh, maybe we start from you this time.
Sure. So I was going through an interesting research talking of people leaving the industry. I'll come to the retention part. If we compare with the most closed sector, banking, unfortunately, insurance has a higher turnover ratio. Of course, the reasons are obvious. And then a lot of being said, and I do admire the kind of investment being done in training and development of the existing talent, whether it is in the right direction. It's not that what I want to train you. It is very important that what you want to get trained on. And then again, going back to the alignment factor, that is it aligning with your career progression path? So most important aspect is that we design a structured learning development plan or individual development plan. We're talking about customization here. Why not training focusing on each and every individual employee's strength? And a lot of assessments is being done. So we have data, we have observations, we have insights where we can check that what fixing need, who needs what kind of fixing in terms of knowledge or skills or development. So having a structured talent development program from the word go, I'm saying that even it starts from the onboarding phase. So before you onboard someone, what kind of learning intervention or what kind of engagement you can provide to the prospective joiner or a new joiner. Then how you handhold the person during his onboarding phase, which is the most sophisticated and most complicated phase. Imagine you're entering an insurance company, you have your perceptions, highly technical, number driven, very complicated. I don't know what will happen. I just graduated from the college. So these are kind of fears. But how we as an industry take care of those fears and handhold each and every employee who's going to be a future leader for me, that determines the kind of retention, and that signifies that how I'm going to see my retention numbers in future, right? I feel more than training, the biggest differentiator is the role clarity. So of course you are given the job descriptions or a briefing about what kind of role you're going to be in, unless you want to be given 360-degree perspective. But you have to start with one department to start with, right? And get mastery and replicate, as it was mentioned that the comb kind of skilling. But you have to start somewhere, right? And I've seen that after a particular time, the employees get lost. It's my own experience that I don't have clarity what am I supposed to do. My manager is telling something, my colleagues are doing something else, and when I attend a C-suite meeting, fortunately I get a seat, there is something else. What's going on? Do I have the clarity? So I feel the kind of amount of conversation, I would say it's a dialogue. It's not a monologue between manager telling you that you have to do this. It has to be a two-way conversation between the manager and the employee, saying that this is what the mission, vision of the company is. This is departmental objectives. This is my role. And this is what we need to do it as a team. You cannot point a finger that you have to do this, right? So this role clarity plays a huge role creating the mindset and making the person feel that, yeah, this is where I want to belong, because at least the communication part is clear.
So maybe from what has changed in that sort of process is earlier when in my days when we used to look for a job, basically it was largely about a one-way communication where I was demonstrating my skills and willingness to work. Now I think it's a two-way street. Very much the interviews have become like the company is choosing you and you are choosing the company. And for me personally, I've stopped looking at the number of years of experience on the CVs, because they've stopped meaning anything. I could have 2 years experience person be the most creative in terms of understanding and applying themselves to a variety of problems, and I could have a 14 years experience person not willing to expand beyond the traditional boundaries. So it doesn't mean anything as much as it used to. Of course, it brings maturity and other things, and diversity of skill sets. I think the ways in which we evaluate are slightly changing. What are organizations doing to keep and retain talent? Therefore, once they come in, is to keep giving them that diversity of experiences, so that they can move roles, move technology, move departments without changing the organization, and that makes them the well-rounded individual within the same company. The team and the people dynamic between the manager and the employee has also changed a lot. It is much more of a collaborative mission kind of thing rather than I give you a task and you perform the job type of thing. So two other significant changes I've seen, or one maybe significant change I've seen on the client side is on the AI part, although a lot of siloed initiatives have been taken in embedding AI within the organizations. Now, organizations, as they start to scale up their AI capability, they're finding that they don't have a big enough talent pool of AI to support those use cases and to sustain those use cases. So, concept of AI varsity has become quite prevalent lately, and concept of setting up AI COEs to nurture and proliferate talent across the organization as a retention tool has taken place quite a lot. So we see a number of our clients going into the AI varsity space where they are looking at grassroots level skill building on AI, role level skill building on AI, more advanced skill building, and then being able to manage and govern all that, the upgradation of those skills as the technology moves. One point to make here, I also want to share. EY and Microsoft have a AI certification or a AI upgrade path, which is free for all students. So do take advantage of that. It's a 10-hour course which you can just apply for. It's called the AI Skills Passport. At the end of that course, you will get basically a EY and a Microsoft certified thing on your CV, which you can use. You can download the certificate and attach it to your CV as your upcoming campus recruitments company. But things like these, where I think talent retention is going to be a lot about camaraderie. It's going to be about teamwork and taking on a mission as a small unit within the organization. And then, of course, goes without saying on the AI skill sets.
Since you are left on this, if you can just throw light, among other things, on two specific things. One, which are the employee segments or functions where you find retention a problem, and if so, then why? And the second thing, if you could touch upon, is in your own company or in your current or previous company, any very successful retention measures which worked, which were a little out of the box, anything like that, if you could share with us.
Thank you for those questions. So I think I'll just take a little bit of a step back and then maybe come back to it. So firstly is that I think the whole game of talent retention is not a game of just one solution or one intervention. It is a lifelong journey that you need to craft and design, keeping in mind the kind of organization that you want to build and the kind of colleagues that you want to keep for the longer term. So what does that mean? That means that when you are, acquiring talent, you are transparent in your conversations. You make sure that they really understand what are they getting into when they join your firm. They understand the goods and the bads. It's not just about painting a rosy picture and then, having them come in and experience a rude shock. They need to know what they are getting into, right? So it starts from there. Second, I think, is about the onboarding journey, and we talked about that. But honestly, especially when we look at the insurance sector and we hire people from the non-insurance background, it takes a lot of confidence building for somebody who has joined an industry which they are not familiar with. And one of the ways in which they can build their confidence further is if you provide them the right kind of learning and development support. So it's extremely crucial to make sure that in the initial days of having someone come on board, depending upon the role that they are in, you support them either with functional skills or technical skills, which will help them become successful faster and become more quickly adaptable to the organization ethos and expectations. From there on, I think the journey of the colleague is a lot about how their roles operate and the transitions that the organization goes through. But one other thing which is extremely important is to make sure that your colleagues constantly feel that you're investing in them to help them stay relevant in the industry context. So with the recent, for example, what Pranav was talking about, the AI varsity concept, end of the day today, if an individual within an organization is not having an understanding of AI, is not having the ability to use AI, then they are definitely at a disadvantage as compared to others. So, what are you doing as an organization to upskill your people? What are you doing as an organization to help people see the way in which the jobs and the entire job architecture framework itself is evolving? And how are you helping them keep pace with it in terms of their own skills and their own understanding? That's extremely key as well. In specific, if I was to go to your questions, Devdutt, I think from our perspective, the one area where we probably struggle the most in terms of retention is the area of sales. And I think that is probably the nature of the beast, that in functional area carries with it a lot of high risk, high return kind of a situation. So people who are successful, who kind of hit the sweet spot, even they sometimes struggle to keep the momentum year on year. And it takes a certain kind of a profile to become successful in sales. But nevertheless, I think as an organization, what is important is for us to make sure that we are creating a very, very supportive organization around sales. There are a lot of examples of people leaving organizations when they are in the sales function because it is the internal dynamics in the organization which made them hard, which made it hard for them to be successful. So instead of battling it out on a daily basis in terms of who is getting the credit, who is going to, be there for the pitch, how are we going to get the support required after we make the pitch to make the client feel that, the pitch was truly genuine and they got the value out of it. Those are the things which actually sometimes derail a sales colleague much more than their own efforts and contributions. So, as an organization, what are we doing to make our sales colleagues successful, whether it be in terms of their own support system, whether it be in terms of their own remuneration, whether it be in terms of the what's after the sale process that we need to fix. Each of those things goes a long way towards retaining your sales function. But yes, probably that is the one area that I think that matters. In terms of interventions and best practices, I think there are many, but one of the things that I would like to call upon as very topical, especially in today's day and age, is the focus around health and well-being. I think with the way in which the sheer pace of life has changed for people, there is a lot of stress that people carry on a day-to-day basis. And as organizations, we want to make sure that our people are their productive best, and they also have the ability to recharge themselves so that they are their productive best, and they are able to hence balance their work and their personal life effectively. I think a number of initiatives that we take as an organization specifically are around this, whether it be in terms of providing EAP services, whether it be in terms of creating forums where people can just disengage from work and come together and have fun. Just this weekend we had a marathon in Bombay, for example, which was sponsored by Aeon. Or for example, having a well-being partner which is AI generated. So all of us actually operate on Microsoft Outlook. So we have Teams as our collaboration tool internally within the organization. We have an application called Thrive, which is actually linked to our Teams application. It keeps sending us, triggers to remind us to take, 10 minutes off, remind us to get up and just walk around and do a few stretching exercises and things like that, which seem very small but which gives each and every colleague that opportunity to be reminded about something which is important. And it also gives them that feeling that the organization cares about how they are living their work day on a day-to-day basis. So these are some of the examples. I think one other thing is to be a more inclusive organization. I think most employees really value that. Most colleagues really value that. So initiatives to drive inclusion, to drive an inclusive mindset, to make it easy for people of diverse backgrounds to come in and work in the organization are also extremely critical. Something, for example, that we have done more recently is that we have introduced a policy which, facilitates those who are physically disadvantaged to, acquire any kind of a device which helps them in their, physical mobility in the workspace, and that's, a completely policy. So some of these things really create a new kind of a mindset, because when we introduce a policy of this nature, not only are the people who are directly impacted by the policy, reading it, but it's the entire colleague population who understands that the organization wishes to be as inclusive of one workforce as other. So it brings in those values and that culture into the organization much more strongly. Sorry if I overstep my time.
Yeah, quickly, I'll then be quick here. So, of course, the highest turnover is in the sales area, and I'll not cover that again. But the other one where we have the retention issue is about in-house assessors. These are in motor claims where these are field assessors, and we see a high attrition there. So what we did was we did kind of a making them relevant to the job all the time. We started a program called Pragati, and these are training interventions with these in-house assessors, and they go through a curriculum. And this curriculum we have actually borrowed from our Japanese partner, Mitsui Sumitomo, which has been a successful in their Japanese market. And we are running the same module with these IHAs, and they go through different stages, they get certifications, and they then look at upskilling themselves and becoming more relevant in the job. And that had really helped us to cut down our attrition by almost 25% in that category. So I would say that reskilling and staying relevant is important piece that all organizations should look at to improve retention.
I think again, a lot of food for thought. So one thought which is sticking in my mind is, we are in a little bit of a fix. The organization wants to be very performance centric, tight goals, deliver sales, financials. But at the same time, it has to also have and create a perceived and well understood human face. That means my organization cares for me. And some of the examples given, be it inclusion, be it even right from the clarity of the role. Somewhere I think unless you have that kind of a cultural bonding or some kind of a emotional level bonding with the organization, retention will become a very mechanical exercise. So it's clearly not a easy task. But I think the takeaway from you is that when you become people managers, you will have to make sure that you develop this emotional bond with your people. Because I read somewhere, every HR person knows about it, that people don't leave organizations, they leave their managers. So many people will tolerate any kind of organizational nonsense, but they say, I don't want to leave my manager. Okay, and the most striking example of this I know is from the defense forces. My father was in the army. And that kind of a thing, of course, we can't compare it with insurance. There you're sacrificing your life. But in the army, when they're part of a unit, they will not let down their commanding officer. For them, that is a matter beyond life and death. It's a matter of honor. I'm not saying insurance company can ever reach that level of commitment and that kind of a feeling. But even if we can be 0.1% on that road, I think we can transform this industry completely. Okay, so it's a different approach altogether. So we are coming to the last part. I think we are okay with time, but a little bit short, and we want to leave a little time for Q&A also. So coming to the industry academia partnership, what I would request is a little fast, quick fire round. If you can, each one of you take maybe a minute or so. What is your thought? What is it that the industry can do? What is it that the academia, like the NI is a specialized agency for insurance training, but even others, even our basic graduation colleges, what is it that the entire ecosystem of the education area sector can do to support this partnership? So a thought from each one of you would really illuminate us, please.
So I would like to add a perspective from not from India. I've worked in Oman for 7 years. Talking of practicality, of course, it is practical. It makes sense because we are sitting in NI, and NI is instilling the insurance education as a core fundamental. So I will not talk about other B schools or colleges. Let's talk about Oman. And I actually lived those moments, or the whole process where technical understanding of insurance business is very low. there is a huge problem of employment. So what government and the private industry does is they contribute to a huge amount of investment in training. So if you are a graduate, fresh graduate, they will put a lot of money in training those fresh graduates to be job ready. That's how the environment is. Little old, but yes, that's the challenge they are trying to address. And they are approaching insurance companies saying that we are even ready to go one step beyond in terms of getting you the freshers who are job ready. Let's accept it. Maybe India or Oman or anywhere in the world, nobody would want to hire a fresher when we are talking about insurance industry. It's a fact, right? And if the fresher, so think of a time it takes to train a fresher than somebody who's already educated in insurance. It's a considerable amount of difference, right? So what we did is we collaborated with the institutions and colleges. We actually sent our leaders who are champions in their domain, underwriting, claims, marketing, and took the sessions literally being a part of the institute. And then when we onboarded them, we had an extensive program for them. And I can say that though I left this company, we had a cohort of around 21 people. We still have, it's been more than 5 years now, we still have around 15 to 16 people sticking around just because the way we have trained them. So I'm not saying that's the model, but I could see the attrition rate could be anywhere around 25, 30, 40% even, because people leave job for money, right? But till today, I'm surprised to see those guys, I'm still in touch with them. They're still hanging around. So that can be one of the possibility in terms of, putting the effort from the industry, not just leaving on the institute or a college saying that, okay, they will take care of the education part. Am I actually doing my bit in terms of instilling that education, making them job ready, plus my culture ready? Every company has a different culture, right? So instilling a culture from the very moment of before onboarding is also important.
So quick 3 points, maybe, start a consulting B school within NIA, start a AI varsity within NIA, and open up another campus. We need more of you guys.
So quick one, I think. We spoke about talent gap, so we need to really do more and more of these kinds of sessions along with industry, and I also hope that other institutes also come up and do these kinds of sessions and interactions so that we bridge this gap. Uh, Hackathons could be one of the ways of also bringing in technology into all this perspective where corporates and industries can participate, sponsor, guest lectures, having practical experience sharing, case studies. All of these can really add value to entire curriculum. Co-create curriculum. In fact, that could be also one of the ways to really bridge this gap.
So I think most of it has been said, but one of the things that I would like to add on is that it would be wonderful if we could also have some short-term courses which are specifically focused on certain specialized areas, because I think that is something that will really help not just fresh talent, but also lateral talent, also mature talent in acquiring more technical understanding as they kind of grow in their respective fields, and will give them an opportunity to become super specialized in certain areas. So I think some of those kind of niche courses, if the the academia can offer, I think that would be really helpful.
I think within the structure, the panelists, I must really compliment them for really sharing a wide diversity of ideas. Thank you very much. So before I throw it open for question and answer, just a quick roundup. So what did we really talk about? We started by saying that, look, this is a problem. Insurance industry has got a talent gap problem, and different panelists had a different view on what is that gap. Starts with talent as in the destination, in industry destination, positioning, etc., etc. Then obviously when there's a gap, it has to be either a demand and supply side problem. So how do you attract talent? How do you market insurance? So somewhere we said, do we reinvent insurance for HR? That means we position insurance for people. talent pool. So a number of ideas came up in that. I think the most insightful was also the retention part. That how do you go from upskilling and training and making people competent? How do you create a safe environment for salespeople, for example? Because most of the time people think that salespeople are the most expendable commodity. If it doesn't perform, throw him out. I mean, that's the easiest thing. Kaam nahi karta hai, throw out. But how many people you'll throw out? What is it doing to the image of your industry, of your company? So we have to nurture talent. So I think from there to diversity to, making people more aware about fitness, health, creating a culture of caring. And of course, we didn't have enough time for the last one, but I think these are very practical things that where industry can get a stake in the academic kind of involvement. Because if they see benefit for them, they will get involved. And obviously, if the academia, they see benefit because their alumni are going to get placed, their product is going to get placed. So there is a mutual trade-off. It's a win-win situation. But obviously, there has to be an investment not only of time but of resources, people. We should encourage people to go and visit as visiting faculty. In fact, I would say make it some part of their performance KPIs. That if you don't go and teach in NI for so many hours in a year, that your performance is going to get affected. I mean, something like that has to be done, because otherwise this partnership will just remain on paper. We'll just keep talking about it. So I think that was a very nice discussion and I really enjoyed anchoring it. But now it's not our turn, it's your turn. Maybe a couple of questions. Somebody can circulate a mic down there. Anybody wanting to, you can ask a general question. If you like somebody specific from the panel to answer it, please state it accordingly and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. So, sir has mentioned about recreating the curriculum, and one has mentioned about the practical aspect of the curriculum. So, we have been talking about this regarding the course curriculum must be a bit of practical on the practical side rather than the theoretical. Even we have some sessions with the guest lecturer where they are sharing their real insurance claims or the underwriting aspects where students are able to learn it up in a better way. So like sir has mentioned that he has been working with learning and development team since ages, so they have prepared a well extensive curriculum. Can't that curriculum be interlinked with our NIA curriculum?
I guess that question is for me, right?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, great. Great question. And thank you so much for raising it. See, adding into a curriculum is not a problem, I believe. It's about how we drive it. And see, nowadays you don't need to overdo anything in terms of loading with content. I see it as content, you name it as a curriculum. How much it is relevant? What is the practical applicability of it? So some things are taught while you are in school, some things are taught while you are in college, some things are taught while you are on the job. So if you were in the first session, Vikramjit has mentioned that we spend 10% on training and major portion is given on the project-based learning. So I can teach you what not. That's not relevant over here. The importance is how much you can apply for it. And trust me, we are in a 30-second memory lane. I hope all of you can relate it. Our memory can retain only up to 30 seconds thanks to Insta, right? So loading things with content or the curriculum, I don't see is a 100% solution. Good suggestion though, we can do that. But I would suggest, I would want you to live through the journey. So if you are with me as an employee or as my colleague, I would want you to experience and I look at it with an agile mindset. Not necessarily what you understand, your colleague will understand. So I have to be partnering with you, understand what you're getting, what you're doing good, where's the improvement. So this is an ongoing process and it happens over a period of time. I hope I answered.
So somebody told me once that there is nothing as practical as good theory. So sometimes, and this is a very standard question. You're in a institution, they'll say we want more practical experience, and you go to the industry, then they will say we want to get a more theoretical framework. So this is a perpetual problem, but your point is very well taken. I think a mix of theory and industry experience, and that's where your internships and projects and so on and so forth come in. I think that's a very valid point. Next question, anybody? Anybody has a question this side? I see.
So, I mean, something I would like to propose, considering you have provoked some thoughts. See, we have something called as a value-added project, where the students work in team. We also have a mechanism to assess them and award them. The money is quite good, 50,000 rupees for topmost prize. But what we have realized is that whatever product we develop based on desk research, empirical research, market research, that remains with us. So maybe we would like to, sir, approach them that those top 3 projects, give them a chance to present. And then maybe we will see that getting applied and used. I think that's a proposal.
That's a good
Sounds
idea.
like a great idea.
Great
Excellent,
proposal.
great, excellent idea.
That's where we meet the knowledge meets the practicality. I think this is what we need to do. It's a great suggestion. Appreciate it.
Okay, if anybody, last question, if there is anybody, or we close the session. We don't see any hands up. There is a backbencher, yes. Last question.
They are awake.
Yeah.
So there's a conversation about being relevant in the industry. So I really wanted to ask, with the emergence of AI and technology and blockchain and IoT, what are the steps and how can we ensure that we are staying up to date at our individual level, and not just individual but also at institutional levels? What are the steps? Because it's really important how we are approaching towards things. So, and also I wanted to, another question that I would like to add on into this is that you all talked about having that technical expertise and technical knowledge. So is it in terms of the terminologies that insurance domain wants in a particular, I would say, department, or is it in terms of having that technology driven mindset, or being very much enthusiastic about data and everything?
Okay. So the first part is about, let me break up the 2 questions so that we can specifically answer it. That how do you protect yourself, or how do you prepare yourself for the AI related ecosystem which is building up around you? So how do you make sure that you stay relevant, correct? Anybody would like to take that on very quickly? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, maybe I can answer that question. So the only thing that Gen AI can't do is ask questions. So if you're curious and you ask the right questions, then Gen AI is your friend and co-pilot, and you can learn any skill, quickly. So I think, yeah, today, as I was earlier also saying, knowledge hoarding is no longer a skill. And knowledge is very widely, freely available to everybody. So whether it's a MBA without insurance or MBA with insurance, in 1 year, maybe they will do a fair amount of catch up if they can ask the right questions. So similarly for you, if you don't know technology, insurance plus digital, insurance plus code, insurance plus something else, insurance plus Gen AI, that plus whatever that technology space is in that plus, if you don't know, first, identify what's your area of interest going to be. So if your area is more on the customer experience side, digital makes sense because that is more customer facing, right? So digital plus insurance plus customer experience, make that as your cohort, ask the right questions, be curious about that segment, see what the industry is doing in those 3 spheres. Who's the leader, who's the follower, how does that attach to the business model, profitability, how is the customer experience changing? Ask Gen AI for the top 5 research reports on those topics. Just keep asking the right questions in those 3 spectrums, and if you keep doing that, again, like Facebook or Instagram, it's all tailored to your questions. So make sure you have a Gen AI login that is for your login, and you're training that model to how you think and how you ask questions, or what is your space. And if you keep doing that for the next 3, 4, 5 years, the Gen AI model will train to your taste and career. It's almost growing with you, as a intelligent engine. So it will start answering basically the dark spots that you are not looking at. It will start answering the questions on those areas. It will learn, and you will learn in the process.
So your last question, I will briefly answer it. How many of you know there's a poster at the entrance of this? What does that poster show us? What does the poster talk about? Anybody? There's a poster coming into this auditorium on the right hand side when you enter. It's a picture of something. Sorry? Nobody has seen it. It's different types of ships and their hull. Okay. And this is the answer to your question. The insurance industry is highly technical. It's not about terminology. So these same picture will be in the, let's say, some college teaching naval architecture or naval engineering, and that is also outside a NI auditorium. That is how technical insurance is. I think beyond that, I don't need to answer your question. Okay, so you are technical people, take pride in it and go deeper and deeper into it, because this is the USP of this particular profession. It is not an FMCG type of a role. It's a technical, hardcore technical role, and that's where you can stand out and specialize. Okay, so we draw this, all good things must come to an end. So thank you, sir, madam, for the opportunity for us to be on this stage and to share. And thank you to my panelists also for adhering to the time limits, and it's been a pleasure interacting with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to our moderator and the panelists for such an insightful discussion. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the experts for sharing their insights and enhancing the discussion. So before we close, I would like to invite my colleagues to come forward and present a memento as a token of appreciation to our esteemed panel.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We will now break for tea and shall resume for the fourth panel discussion at 4:45 p.m.